Now we're live.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Back at it. Yeah. See,
Yeah.
kids, we care. Look at this. Each episode, we're gonna upgrade something else until we're back. Until we're back in the studio.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah. So
It looks like
hopefully,
I'm in heaven and you're in hell.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll get some more lighting.
Only if it's actual flames. Uh, there you go. That looks much better. A nice yellow glow.
Hey.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. It's better. Needed that lighting. Everything in
Just give me the light.
HD, full dynamic display from Zoom.
Via Zoom.
Via Zoom. Did you hear that Zoom went down for a little bit?
Did I hear? It was
Oh,
an
did
issue
you?
at work.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys were utilizing it that much.
Yeah, we're using that, but also, Microsoft has their own
Yeah,
Slack,
Microsoft
essentially.
Teams.
Teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we adopted that rather quickly after Zoom let us down.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
It was only a matter of time before it was going to shit the bed at some point.
Yeah. Too many people were using it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of these institutions, they're just like, yeah, we'll do it over Zoom. And Zoom's like, well, not everybody. And everyone's just like, yeah, you got it. And they're like,
I
well,
don't really want to,
not
though.
all of them. And they're like, no, you got it. Don't worry about it. You'll be able to handle it.
Good luck.
You'll be able to handle it, and we won't pay you for it. How about that? So do all of this for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're recording this the August 26th.
International Dog Day.
International Dog Day. Yes.
Yep.
Very important. And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention everything that's kind of going on right now. I mean, like it's like you said before we started recording. It's like this show's been going on for a couple of years now, and it seems like every couple of years we have to do this. And it's like, how many times are we gonna have to like take a moment or even a full episode to acknowledge all of the shit that's happening in the real world?
It's been.
It's been.
We'll take any levity we can. It's only been like 2 months since we had that last episode with Travis,
Mm-hmm.
where we had to talk about social injustice and violence and systemic racism and all that jazz.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, this podcast could just be, we could just change gears and just talk about that every episode, because it just
the sad drunk hour.
That's really what we get drunk because of the pain. We stop drinking different craft beers.
Yeah,
and just start pounding Miller Lights.
What's the strongest thing you have?
Please just numb the pain.
One bottle of bourbon in.
So I'm gonna get the date correct, because
yeah, it's
got a turn.
It is the 26th.
It's 26th.
You writing in your journal?
You shut your face. You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth, boy. I'm trying to find the date of the shooting. I mean, it's over the weekend.
I can't find the actual date. But which shooting?
Yeah. Well, the one that re-sparked, I guess I shouldn't say sparked or re-sparked because we've been having this conversation for, I mean, the better part of the whole year, and some of us have been having this conversation on and off for the past 10 years. But the one that got national news again, Jacob Blake. I can't. I mean, I'm skimming these articles, and I just don't. I don't. I don't want to sit here and read the fucking Jacob Blake, the father of three, the black man who was getting into his car and was shot 7 times, and he survived. Thankfully, he is, according to his father, paralyzed from the waist down. He was shot 7 times by 2 police officers while he was apparently breaking up a fight between 2 other people.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know, man. So that happens, sparks the inevitable protests out in Wisconsin where the shooting happened, and in the midst of the shooting, or in the midst of the protests rather, there was another shooting by a white kid, 17 years old, traveled 20 miles apparently to help, according to the people defending him, to help, I don't know, defend that store, to defend storefront properties from damage. I don't know. I
To
don't
be
know
a
what.
real hero.
Yeah, to be a hero, I guess. And he ended up killing 2 people, shooting 3 people, killing 2, and he's now in custody. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It just, I mean, like you said, it's kind of hard to. What do you add to the national to the national debate, the ongoing conversation that first we haven't already said, and this is just a repeat. It's just like we're just watching the same episode happen over and over and over again. And I mean, he didn't die, Jacob Blake. So I guess
Miraculously.
I guess that's a small consolation prize for, I don't know. And so then all of this happens, and then the sports world reacts. Um, the NBA, there's been this ongoing conversation as to how much the NBA should be speaking out about it. And again, we can go on about the shut up and dribble politics of everything, but they decided that they couldn't do it. And so as of today, there's supposed to be 3 game 5s, so the NBA playoffs that were supposed to take place. All of them they're boycotting. And then in solidarity with them, a bunch of MLB games are postponed due to this,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy when you think about the baseball world going. Yeah, we'll talk about racial politics. It's kind of insane.
America's pastime
Yeah.
is nothing sacred.
So, I mean, really, we just felt like it would be a glaring omission to pretend like all of these things aren't going on. And we wanted to mention them. I don't know if you had any thoughts that you wanted to share.
I mean, nothing that we haven't really talked about before. You know our stance if you've been listening to us long enough. I mean, I'm of the viewpoint on this show that most people come to us to the show for an escape and are looking for some relief, maybe a laugh here or there, just to get lost in nerdy talk or reviews about beer and nonsense. So we do get into some serious topics from time to time. It's just because these things are important to us, but I think it goes to show really the point of all this is like this is a rerun. If we were to dedicate this entire episode to talking about again racial injustice, police brutality, systemic racism, we would be treading over topics that we've tread over far too often.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that we felt like we've had to. So, I think I can speak for you in this instance where, we wanted to address it, but we also wanted to not spend the entire episode on it just because, it's like we're repeating ourselves over and over again. It's just, I mean, at least from my point, it's frustrating to have to do this over and over again.
That's 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 part of the tragedy of it all, is just that nothing has changed, and people are like, you're watching these guys not play basketball, they're boycotting, and it's like, well, what's that gonna help? And it's like, I don't know, man. We're talking about it, aren't we?
Right.
I mean, you're not it's getting people to ask questions, and you should be asking yourself why you're so angry that they're doing this. You know what? Yeah. I mean, again, I think if you want to hear a full in-depth breakdown, a very ugly, scatterbrained breakdown of all of that, you can go back and listen to our Black Lives Matter episode where we tried to dissect this as much as possible, and then the episode after that, kind of a follow-up, kind of a epilogue, if you will,
Yeah.
to that episode. I think that's pretty much pretty much it on that. So again, we wanted to mention it because it would be kind of obvious that we are ignoring it if we didn't make a mention of it. But if you are coming to us for some kind of levity, some kind of sigh of, not relief, but I don't like the
Resignation.
Yeah. We got you covered, because we're going to spend the rest of the episode just trying to make people feel good about themselves. Okay?
Okay.
That's what we're going to do.
Let's do
it. In light of that, I think we should get these fucking beers open and just numb the pain, baby. Just numb the pain.
Yes.
So, you want to introduce your beer first, good sir?
Sure. Well, first, I want to introduce a product which we're not being paid to represent.
I thought you were about to start talking about a sponsor we didn't talk about. I was like, oh, here we go.
Lactate, my friends.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
We need to look into sponsoring a sponsorship with them.
I would love it, because genuinely, they literally saved my ass. And you know what? I'm doubling up.
Nice. See,
you know why? It's a big can.
That's a big ass can.
What were you gonna say?
No. Tell the people what you got going. What are you drinking?
Okay. So, in recent weeks, I've been trying to kind of reach into my roots a little bit. For those who don't know, I'm just a smidge Filipino.
Just a smidge,
just a little bit. But I was raised with Puerto Rican heritage and
Puerto Rican wolves
culture. Yeah, and so I didn't get any of that Filipino side, but I found a really good restaurant, and that's my preferred way of learning about cultures, is eating their food.
Yeah, putting it down your face hole.
Exactly. So there's a place in Orlando called Taglish, and it's inside an Asian supermarket, and it is delicious. So anyway, I've gone there a couple times now. Super good. Highly recommend it. Go check it out. But just coincidentally, they happen to do a collaboration with Redlight. So it's like two of my favorite things together, and I fangirled and ran out and got the Halo, which is a milkshake style American hoppy ale with ube, mango, and lychee.
Ube
or lychee. It's a 32-ounce baby right here. That's why I took two, and it's a 7%. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, that sounds really good.
Kind of. Oh, jealous. And for those who don't know, halo is a Filipino dessert.
You're a Filipino dessert.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, So what I grabbed was from the Swamp Head Brewery. I grabbed two too because I'm an alcoholic.
It's a good excuse.
It's the Wild Night Honey Cream Ale, ale brewed with honey,
Hmm.
and it has a cold read. And I'm gonna steal this one from you, in the interest of time.
Okay.
Along the rivers, in the fields, and through the forests of Florida, thousands of bees are hard at work, producing some of the sweetest honey in the world. We'd like to think they're proud that all their hard work has ended up in our award-winning honey cream ale. That is, wow. The arrogance of that statement.
Wow.
Wild Night is crisp and delicate, yet bursting with flavor. We've added local honey and a touch of hops to update this American classic. Bright, golden, and enjoyable anytime. Wild Night is what a cream ale should be, and they spell B with two E's. They're really leaning into that we steal from bees, but they would appreciate it.
I like it.
All right. Well, I'm excited to hear what you think of that beer, and I'm excited to crack open this beer. So let's get into this bitch. This is the One Baron Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in. Yes.
I think we're good.
Okay. I got some splash damage.
Oh, on the microphone, yeah. I got this shock absorber thing
Oh.
on accident. Actually, I was looking for a one of those things you put around the mic as like a soundproofer. They have one of those things you can kind of hook to your arm or a desk, and it's just foam. It's its own, basically its own insulation for your mic.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have like a home studio or a portable studio, you don't have to worry about putting foam all over the walls and shit. And at this point, technology is so good that, you know, when I see people, like I tell people I built a home studio and they're like, oh, you put the egg cartons and stuff all over the walls. And it's like, no, dude, you really don't have to do any of that shit.
I am far too lazy for that.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. You don't need to do it. It's a waste of money, and you know you won't get. I mean, there's obviously more that I could do to get like a robust sound quality out of a room, right?
Yeah.
But with what I've been doing so far, it's like, I mean, I'm not working with live studio musicians or you
You
know.
don't have to like mic up drums.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what I mean, what is the point of going through all those changes?
Yeah.
I tell you, there ain't no point. So that's right. The One Baron Podcast, the podcast where two fucking brews crack open a brew and see where that one brew takes us.
You got there,
These are
bud.
two individual brews, and these two individual brews is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Cheers.
And I am Marco Dupa. This is episode 277. And I think that there is a lot of nerdy shit to get into. In spite of all of the crazy shit that's going on in the world, there is a lot of really fun things happening. It's like there really is a creator in the universe. He's balancing things, right? Throwing stuff at us.
It's a cosmic game dev.
Yeah. It really is a sick game that he plays.
We were gonna be happy this episode. Come on.
Right. So since the last time we recorded, there was the DC FanDome.
Yep.
We didn't talk about it because it hadn't happened yet. When the last
it was
episode.
in between our episodes.
Yeah.
FanDome,
which was a resounding success.
Yeah.
I can't believe how, I mean, it went off without a hitch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they crushed it.
Yeah, a lot of buzz came out of it too, which
Yeah.
is surprising because I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of issues with DC properties as of the past 5 years or so.
Well, DC's really good at making shit look good, and then the end result being not so great.
It's true. They're great at trailers.
Oh yeah, they're really
Yeah.
great at trailers. Speaking of which, it's the return of trailer trash.
Trailer trash. I almost forgot what to say, honestly.
I know it's been so long, but we got a couple of trailers that we wanted to kind of jump into, and seeing as we're on video, and we can share the video with the people. If you guys haven't seen this trailer yet, we're gonna watch it in real time together. So the first thing that we got is share. There we are. The Batman teaser trailer.
Yay.
Yay. So without further ado, let's rock it.
From your secret friend.
Underneath the bridge,
Who?
topper sprung a leak, and the animals I've trapped
Haven't a clue.
all become my pet.
Let's play a game. Just me and you. Any of this mean anything to you?
You're becoming quite a celebrity. Why is he writing to you?
If you are justice, please do not lie. What is the price for your blind eye?
The hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
Whoa! This guy's crazy!
You're part of this too.
How am I part of it?
You'll see.
So, yeah, I don't like to relish in my minimal successes, but I will relish in this one because, like what happens every time somebody gets cast that people don't expect, the internet loses their collective mind and they go, "What? This guy?" Ooh." And it turns out that this movie looks fucking awesome so far.
Yeah.
You've got Paul Dano as what is presumably the Riddler. I mean, obviously, he couldn't be anybody else, but they didn't name him. And then Colin Farrell as presumably the Penguin.
Bullseye. Oh.
Yeah. You know what? I honestly didn't know for a really long time when I was watching Daredevil that they were making Homeboy Bullseye. Yeah, it took me a couple episodes to go, oh, that's what they're doing with that.
The show?
Yeah. When they introduced him, like I was like, the bit where he puts on Daredevil's costume and everything, I was like, I do remember that, but who did that? And I couldn't like put two and two together. And then it took a couple episodes for me to go, oh, that's who. Even though he was throwing shit and he was ricocheting it off of walls, and I'm an idiot. Anyway,
okay.
back to the trailer. So yeah, you got Colin Farrell, Paul Dano. You get a glimpse of Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, and obviously Robert Pattinson, just looking like an absolute emo badass.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I mean that scene where he beats up that thug, it's just so satisfying. Just the thuds, then he just starts wailing on. I mean, it's just, and then the I am vengeance. You're like, yeah, dude, yeah, yes, yeah. I'm all about.
I was
it.
waiting for I am the Knight.
Mhm.
I am Batman.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were gonna go the full Monty on that one,
Yeah.
and they didn't. Smart choice.
Yeah.
Smart choice.
So
So yeah, I mean that premiered at the FanDome, and that was one of the many successes that they had going for them.
There's been a couple of video games too.
Yeah, do we want to bring up those trailers? They're a little longer. They're like
we can
4 or
just
5 minute trailers.
Yeah, we can just get top level. There's the Suicide Squad Kill the Batman, which looks cool.
Yeah.
CG trailer though, so we don't really know what the game really is going to be, but apparently it's in the same Arkham game universe. So if you've played any of the other Arkham Asylum games, you may know a little bit what to expect.
Yeah. Kind of weird that one's set in the Arkhamverse, and then the Gotham Knights one isn't. It's like a different.
That seems completely backwards to me.
Yeah. So I think the problem that DC is continuously running into is the whole, we have a multiverse, and so we can explore different stories with the same characters kind of thing, which to me, it's cool, and it's also kind of it's very convoluted. I mean, it gives them a chance to make a movie like The Joker, and then The Batman, and then Suicide Squad and Flash, and all of those movies Flash and Suicide Squad are connected, but the former three,
the Wonder Woman,
not that one, the Wonder Woman, all of those movies can be disconnected, but telling a similar story from different perspectives, and not have to be at the mercy of what another movie's doing, which is I think the fatal flaw of the MCU, which is one character does one thing in one movie, and now they have to adhere to the rules that they created in that movie.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that was born out of failure, though, because the Marvel universe has been the beacon of doing that the right way.
For sure.
So if they were able to capture that same lightning in a bottle for their universe, we wouldn't have that, which I think is a good thing and a bad thing, because then we wouldn't get movies like Joker, most likely, which I mean, I thought was good. I wasn't in love with it. Like,
I wouldn't have missed it if it never existed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy it does, because it opens the door to like more mature stories like that in the DC universe, like actually mature, like not just dark.
Right. I'm only happy it exists because Joaquin Phoenix finally got the Oscar he deserved a long time ago.
Worth it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, I see what you're saying, and it gives them. They kind of backed themselves into a corner because they failed so handsomely with the DC cinematic universe. That being said, it still gives them an opportunity to do more things potentially than the MCU can. The MCU is obviously near flawless in their execution, but at the same time, like I said, you have to obey the rules that you've created.
And it's all very safe. All of those movies, with the exception of Deadpool, because it was a Fox property, were super safe. And we haven't heard a peep from Daredevil since that acquisition by Disney.
Yeah.
So
I've been reading rumors though, because you Google one thing and they throw you every article that's written on the internet about it. So
yeah,
I Googled the cast of Daredevil and now I get all these articles. And apparently they are talking to Charlie Cox to bring him back.
that'd be awesome.
That's like the big rumor, is like he's the number one choice. And unless another movie or series in his schedule blocks him from doing it, that he's the guy. He's their number one guy. Kevin
I really
Feige
hope so.
is apparently, or Feige.
Kevin
F.
Feige.
Feige.
Because it's Paul Feig is
Right.
the other guy
Right.
who has a similar last name.
That's the one I always get confused about.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige.
Right.
He's apparently a really big fan of Daredevil. He liked the show a lot, so.
Yeah.
I
I mean, as really, like, again, like we said before, I would love if they brought back Punisher and obviously Daredevil.
mhm.
I really hope that they also keep Vincent D'Onofrio, because
Yeah.
I think he's probably the best choice for Kingpin.
Yeah, I think he could do some really good work if they give him the leeway to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a bona fide, movie star.
Yes.
So I feel like he'd bring something to it if
Mhm.
you're trying to get people to go to the theaters to watch Charlie Cox as a leading man.
Yeah. Well, and see that again, that's another thing where like the TV shows, they had to at least acknowledge the movies so that people understood where it was set in and kind of set the parameters of what you're going to see.
But it was never 100% clear that there was a real direct link to it, other than the brief mentions of like the incident in New York. You know?
Yeah.
And
They did keep it light. Yeah.
because you take that in comparison to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that shows directly referencing stuff in that universe and having characters cross over and things like that.
Right.
So I feel like it's like a pseudo tie-in.
I mean, what a wasted opportunity to not have any big star just make an appearance.
Right. 5 minutes, just walk on.
Just a walk on.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's in the past. So
Yeah.
I have to go
But
back.
anyway,
and watch
so
it.
the DC FanDome,
DC FanDome.
So, like you were talking about, one of the characters you mentioned was Flash.
Yeah.
And apparently we're getting Batfleck back for that movie.
Batfleck.
After it was rumored he was completely done with Batman as a character.
Yeah.
So that adds some more kind of confusion with that movie, because it's like, okay, is that part of that entire universe now too?
Right.
And is that also in conjunction with Wonder Woman and Aquaman and all that? Is like all that tied in still? Or
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's too many. They're creating too many webs already, and it's like you guys only have a handful of movies, and yet it's already confusing trying to keep up with the timeline of everything.
yeah, and then
involved.
obviously the new Suicide Squad. Does that overtake the old one in canon, or is that non-canonical for
Right.
everything?
Right.
Because there are some returning actors that played the same characters, and I mean the vast majority of them are brand new. So
Yeah.
but you have Margot Robbie.
Right. You got she's really her and Captain Boomerang and or
Rick Flag.
Boomerang? Rick Flag. I was gonna call him Captain Flag, and I was like, there can't be two captains. Yeah. Rick Flag. Both of them, or all three of them, really kind of tie it into the last movie. So it's obviously set in the same universe, but it's like, yeah, I mean, is it just a really fast reboot, or is it a sequel or a spiritual sequel? We
Right.
gonna pretend like the first one didn't happen?
It seems that way.
Is it like an Army of the Dead kind of thing, where we just do it again, but it's like not the same thing? It's like more what they wanted to do with it, kind of deal.
That's what it seems like to me. It's like a do-over.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with it. I think it looks good so far from the teasers they've given out. I mean, I trust.
Yeah.
the
No,
creative talent.
it looks. Yeah, it looks cool. You get more trusted filmmakers to work on these things. I mean, we're aboard the James Gunn train, so
Of course.
whatever he does, I'm down for. I'll so him having his hands on that property is good.
Mhm.
Speaking of I wouldn't say talented filmmakers, but filmmakers, we're finally getting the Snyder Cut, the long rumored, I would say now legendary Snyder Cut is actually come to fruition, and it's going to be a 4-hour 1 hour piece, or I should say 4-part movie. I don't know, miniseries. I don't really get it.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to break it up.
They said it's 4 parts, 4
Okay.
hour movie, 4 parts, but it's like, okay, if you release it in theaters, do we get like a Grindhouse kind of thing where there's a, like a 5 to 10 minute intermission between the parts? I would actually be down for that. I would go see the movie 4 hours. I'd be like, all right, this is my day. I'm gonna go at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mhm.
Obviously, when all of this is
Right.
I'm not gonna go tomorrow, but in an optimal situation where we're back in theaters, I would do it. Couple of intermissions, maybe one intermission between both parts. I'd do it.
I mean, I was there for Lord of the Rings, so I have no problem sitting down for 4 hours.
Yeah. I mean, we watched Grindhouse.
Yeah, we sure did.
So-
We were there. We were the 2 of the 10 people who saw that movie.
So I'm with it. So I mean,
And-
okay.
And Scott Pilgrim.
Question is, I know what a fucking.
I'll
Just
never get
every
over
time
that.
I think about it, it's just such a crime. It's a
upsetting.
crime.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
Do you think it's gonna live up to the hype? Also, what are you doing?
I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm trying to plug in my charger because for some reason it's just not charging right now.
Just do it right now. Just do it. Just take a
Well,
second.
it's
and do
not
it.
it's not working in that plug, so I'm gonna have to try and put it in another plug. Hold that thought.
All
I will
right.
be right back. Okay.
Goodbye. I'm gonna look at my phone. I'm gonna look at my phone. Can you guys see that? That's from our buddy Rob. He's drinking the Face Melter Apricot Mango Goze. I'm gonna ask him how many bottle caps. Bottle caps. See what he says. Because that looks interesting. Although a super fruity Goze, not my cup of tea. We'll see what he says though.
Okay.
Because I mean, going out to buy a Goze that wasn't offered to me, or somebody didn't tell me to go and get it. I don't know.
To Goze and get it.
Goze and get it. Goze Jose.
No way, Goze.
No way, Goze. Oh, we are stupid. Things that make me laugh, dude. Man, that the meme that's going around on Twitter of like without downloading a new picture, how are you feeling or whatever? Yeah. I put that picture of, I mean, every time I look at it, it makes me laugh. It's without downloading new pics mentally, where are you? And I put a picture of the scene in The Dark Knight when Harvey Dent looks over and he's Two-Face, except someone photoshopped the messed up portion of his face and put it on both sides. Actually, I'll just show it to you.
Oh, I saw it.
So stupid. Oh my god, it's just so fucking funny, man. It looks like one of the aliens from They Live.
It does.
Oh, I just love that shit. And all Lottie could do is respond, Marco, what the fuck?
She probably thought it was an actual burn victim.
That's even funnier to think that she thought I would think it was funny to just be like, yeah, I feel like a guy whose entire face was melted off of his bones.
Hilarious.
That is so funny. Are you
Okay.
good, man?
You know what?
What?
It ain't working. So I may have to jump off of this computer.
Okay. I mean, if we it's what, like not holding a charge, or what?
It's not like I have it plugged into the charger and it charges for a second and then it just stops charging. So I don't know what's going on, but that ain't a good sign.
No.
So I was gonna try to switch out the ports and see if maybe another port will work, but the other port I have is the one that the mic's plugged into. So I can try that, but I'd lose my mic for a sec. So
Okay.
So pause.
All right. Okay, we're back. I mean, people don't know how long it took for us to get back here, but it
A
took
mere 10 seconds.
So yeah, before the whole thing came crashing down, I was asking you if you believe that after all of the hype that the Snyder Cut is going to live up. What do you think?
No. No. There's 0% chance that it lives up to the hype.
Yeah. All right. Well, before you elaborate, do
Okay.
you think a movie has ever? Yeah. It's like I can't do it, man.
Oh, this episode.
It's a fucking disaster. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it about the
I'm just gonna
meatloaf?
pause it. I'm gonna pause. Okay. We will get through this episode. I swear to God. We will get through this episode. Yeah. So, do you think any movie has lived up to like an insurmountable amount of hype? Like, say, any of the Avengers movies, for instance.
I think Endgame was worth the wait.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty. That left me feeling satisfied.
Yeah.
I mean, for one, I loved Dark Knight Rises when it came out. So I know a lot of people are naysayers about it, but I thought it was a satisfying conclusion to that series.
I agree with you, man. I understand people's criticism.
It's a little goofier, but that's
Yeah.
not a bad thing.
Yeah, and there's parts where you're like, well, that's a plot hole. I get it, but on the whole, I don't know. There's some moments of that movie that are my favorites in the whole series.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm a huge Tom Hardy guy. I got a Tom hard on for Hardy. So anything he does, and I'm just Bane as a character. I mean, yeah. So that's okay. So Snyder Cut though, 4 hours, can't live up to the hype, can it?
No, there's a 0% chance that entire thing lives up to the hype that all the fans have been clamoring for. And I mean, I'm not a Snyder hater. I think he has some.
Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
Because I think we spent half an hour of an episode just dogging the last 5-6 movies that he came out with.
That's true. However, I think that he's made some really good movies in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he has zero talent or he's never made a good movie before, but I think his losses outweigh his wins so far.
Yeah.
So that leads me to not have much faith in his vision for this movie. I mean, the the synopsis of it sounds better than what we ended up with as like a comic book fan. But do I think he can pull it off? Not really. I mean, I think we're going to get a bloated, extended edition of a movie, essentially, and with some different plot devices thrown in for fun. But I don't know. I don't see it coming together to be this like epic, world-shifting movie that everybody's hoping it's going to be. I think it's going to be like it's. I mean, I don't even think. I know it's going to be this event of the year, and people are going to be really excited about it. But I just don't think it's going to live up to being a good movie.
Well, let me just say this, because apparently this is going to be like basically a different movie. He's going to try to use as few, if not none, of the scenes that were shot by Joss Whedon. And they're refilming a bunch of stuff, which I don't know how they're pulling that off.
They were given, I guess, a budget to do reshoots. So what, you bring the whole cast back, or do you bring them one at a time and CGI them back in?
It seems like that's the route they've been going. It's like having like Henry Cavill come in for a bit and do a few reshoots, and then like, you know, having other people come in just to fill out like the scenes that he originally meant to happen.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it's all this big CG fest anyway. So they'll just do some mocap and animation and, you know, fill in the blanks that way too.
Kind of amazing that they can just drop actors into a thing now.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can tell most times you can tell it's a little janky looking, but still, it's still fascinating that.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of Zack Snyder, he's got that Army of the Dead or Army of Darkness, or it's obviously neither one of those titles, but
I was going to say what?
He made a zombie movie for Netflix that has Dave Bautista. It's not out yet. It's coming out. Dave Bautista and Chris D'Elia, and yeah, whatever. Chris D'Elia, and apparently they're going to, because the movie's done and it was supposed to be coming out, and I guess it got pushed back by my corona, and so they're gonna replace him in the whole movie with Tig Notaro, another comedian.
Okay.
Which, first of all,
same person,
right? And second of all, it's pretty amazing that they're just like, yeah, we're going to just rip him out of the film. I mean, understandably, I'm not dogging on that decision. I'm just saying it's insane that we're at a point in technology where they're just like, oh, you know what? We don't want him in the movie anymore. And they can just go in and go, bloop, just pop him out and replace him with somebody else.
Kevin Spacey him out.
Right. But yeah, Tig Notaro is a very interesting choice.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a statement, because she was one of the main people speaking out against Louis, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and this was after Louis was pretty fundamental in her career. I mean, obviously she's a talented comedian, so she's earned what she's got. But the boost from him, you can't mistake what he gave her as far as like a what do they call that? Like a broadcast, or like a signal,
like a platform, signal boost. Yeah.
Because I didn't even know who she was until he sent out a thing about one of her stand-up sets when I think she had cancer, and she was talking about it in like this brutally honest way, and it was like this really amazing set, and Louis posted about it, and then that's when I heard about her. So selfishly, I'm saying that that's how everybody heard about her, is because that's how I heard about her.
That's my perception. So it's everybody's.
So yeah, it's just pretty amazing. That movie's probably gonna suck too. I hate that for Bautista, because I want him to have good things in life.
Yeah, of course.
I finally watched Stuber. Did you ever watch Stuber?
No, I never watched Stuber. It got panned too much for me to give it a shot.
Yeah, they have good chemistry, him and Kumail Nanjiani, and that's the only good part of the movie, really.
That sucks. I mean, the trailer had me interested. I thought it looked like it was going to be something, good.
Yeah, but it's a funny concept that turns into every other buddy cop movie you've ever seen.
It's too
But
bad.
yeah. Anyway, so no way that the Snyder Cut lives up to the hype.
I mean, what do you think?
Is it, I mean, I think if it's truly reshot that much, 80 to 90% of the film is not what we saw. I mean, it's got a chance, a small chance. It's got a chance. To be honest with you, I have to go back and watch Justice League because the way that people shit on that movie, I mean, I don't remember watching, DC Presents The Room. I don't remember it being that bad. I mean, it wasn't good.
Well, no. It's in my opinion, it's not as bad as Suicide Squad. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's not a good movie though. It's a mess. It's a complete mess. It feels like a mess.
Maybe that's the biggest thing, right? It's just that it's so
disjointed and
yeah.
like it doesn't feel like it was a cohesive vision because it wasn't.
Right.
And that's what I think gets most people excited about the Snyder Cut is that it is his cohesive vision now, and we get to see that unified vision of what he had in mind. Now, that being said, like Zack Snyder, he's great, one of the best at visuals and setting up a really exciting action set piece and all that stuff.
If you will.
A spectacle. He's great at the spectacle, but as far as like a cohesive, tight story, not so much. It's always the stuff that he adapts that does the best.
Yeah.
Have you seen like Sucker Punch?
Mm-hmm.
Movie sucks. It looks great. It looks great, but the movie sucks. It just the story falls apart. And like I feel like Man of Steel was pretty solid, but from basically then on, it's been more and more of his vision. Yeah, it's been more and more of his vision just kind of like not really working.
Yeah,
and it's not like this is the first time he's had the chance to tell his own story, and it was snatched away from him. Like he's had other chances and he's proven to not be very good at that aspect of filmmaking. So that's really why my expectations are tempered, because he's proven to not be that coherent of a filmmaker. It's great at spectacle. It's probably going to look really cool. It's going to be really loud, but
I mean, you can already see from like the scenes that the teaser scenes that they've released to kind of show what he's been working with, that it's like visually it's going to be stunning, and but in the way of, I mean, how much different plot wise can that movie be with what they shot? I mean, you get the big bads, you get the characters assembling, you get the Superman subplot. I mean, how much different can it really be?
Guess we'll see. I don't know.
Guess we will see.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as anything else from the fandom, is there anything else that really piqued your interest? I mean, we talked briefly about the video games, and they look dope. Did you have like I don't know, any critique of them or any? Because I'll say this, there were people who were like, again, we're just going to keep delving into this same fucking thing. Like, people were not happy about Gotham Knights. They thought that it just looked like a retread of the Arkham games.
Right, which it's not a part of. So I don't really that wasn't an issue for me. I like and the Arkham games are some of the best, specifically the best Batman games ever, and have some of the best action combat of the entire generation. So I'm not upset about getting more of that at all. I'd love more of that. Give me all of that.
It looks like they're expanding on the combat system itself and having 4 different characters to play as. 4 different characters?
Yeah.
4 different characters to play as, and all of them having a unique combat system. I mean, if they pull that off right, it's like, I mean, that's... And also having the online co-op, like we could finish the story together.
Yeah,
online.
that'd be awesome.
I mean, come on, man. Sounds awesome. What are you talking about? I don't know.
No, both the games looked cool. I'd like to see more of Suicide Squad to see how that actually plays. given that each of those characters has obviously like dramatically different skill sets. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering how it's going to play as far as like switching characters and what each of them bring to the table and how those mechanics work. But it seems like a cool concept.
Do you think that this is a good first step for DC as far as catching up to Marvel? And second question, is there any catching up to Marvel at this point?
First question answer, yes. I feel like this is a good first step. I feel like it's been a long time since it's been a long time since we've seen this level of promise from DC in a long time, as far as their, anything other than comics. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I, as a fan of a lot of their properties, am excited about the future because it seems like they're getting their ducks in a row finally.
Yeah.
They're on the right track. Do I think all of them are going to be rousing successes? No. I think a lot of them are going to fail. That's okay because I feel like they're finally on the right track with a lot of their stuff. And I'm excited to see what comes in the future. And again, the games look great. Batman trailer, I think, won over a lot of fans who weren't so sure about Robert Pattinson under the cowl. So I'm all about that. That got my excitement reignited. The stuff from Suicide Squad, those little teasers looked really good. That's really what I'm most excited walking away from this entire event about is Suicide Squad.
The movie
followed
or the
by
game?
Good point. The movie. That, I'm just all about seeing what James Gunn does with Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's going to be like a little more violent and dark, and like I'm into James Gunn kind of reaching into that area of his expertise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. I think it went basically as well as it could have. I think they really hit a home run with this one. So we'll see how things go. I mean, I don't think that the Snyder Cut's going to live up to the hype, but it's cool that that's out there for fans because they asked for it. And if it comes out and the majority of people don't like it, but those core fans love it, that's fine.
Yeah,
it's good. It will definitely get people to subscribe or at least do a trial for HBO Max, and that's really what matters to them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the fact that the fans' voices got out there loudly enough to make this happen in the first place, I think is a victory for a lot of the fans out there. So whatever. If we don't like it, that's fine. We're not really the people that they're trying to get anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I like to think about when the original Suicide Squad came out. Right before it came out, they released that trailer, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, this movie actually looks pretty good." And then they were like, "Oh no, those were the best scenes of the movie. It only covered 2 minutes. We have to go back and refilm everything to match the tone of that trailer." And it fucking fell on its face so hard. And when I think about like what you said about James Gunn and how it's going to be interesting to see what he brings to the table and letting him kind of explore that side of his artistry and knowing the characters that they have to work with and kind of, and just thinking about the original movie. It's like, what the fuck were they thinking with that first one? I don't want to sit here and like, shit on them as far as, how good the movie is. It's just like the tone of it or the plot, I guess, where you bring them all together and then the whole thing is based around this supernatural thing with this princess and like,
it sucks.
What the fuck were they thinking?
It's all, and then you introduce the Joker, but do nothing with him.
You
but
cut out all the scenes,
fine.
and then you've got a guy in Jared Leto who, some people love him, some people hate him, but like that Joker, I mean, they didn't even give him a chance.
No, he's an iconic character, an iconic villain, and they give him like 5 minutes of screen time the entire movie. It was a complete waste. Now, here's the thing: a lot of people are calling now for an Ayer cut because David Ayer made that movie, directed that movie.
Yeah.
I for one think that David Ayer is an even lesser filmmaker than Zack Snyder.
Yeah. I mean, we're
So-
already giving a lot of rope to Zack Snyder. There's
Yeah.
not enough rope left for David Ayer.
For David Ayer, I'm sorry, David, but
No.
no. But that goes also with saying that the studio heavily meddled with the movie that he intended to make,
Yeah.
and I think that was obvious from the tonal shifts and like them trying to make it more comedic, and it feels like a movie made by committee because it was.
Yeah.
So, maybe there's something to that where his original vision may have been a better movie. But I still don't think it would have been a good movie. I think it would have been maybe a more cohesive movie, but
Yeah.
not a good one.
I don't think it's
So-
worth the time and energy and money to go back and see what he had cooking.
No, especially because we have this new movie coming out, and that would just detract from, the James Gunn.
The gun cut.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think that's kind of silly, but
Plus, I mean, other than Will Smith, I mean, he got such a better cast. It's crazy
oh, for sure.
how
100%.
much better the cast is in this new one. Who he got?
I forgot to
get
mention
in this.
Viola Davis is back too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean,
Yep.
come on, man. Just
Yeah,
if you
it-
haven't seen the teaser, go and watch the teaser. They just basically introduce the Suicide Squad, which a lot of people are going, yeah, but 8 of them are going to die in the first 15 minutes. And it's like, whatever. Still be fun.
I mean, from what they described, it's like a war movie. So it might be kind of cool just to see them like be thrown into the fire and see what happens.
yeah.
So
And I mean, if Marvel can do it with Endgame, a big war scene with all of the characters, it can be done.
Sure.
DC can do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We will see. But I don't know. I mean, it's a good first step for them. Can they catch up to Marvel? You didn't really answer that question. Do they have enough juice in the tank? They obviously have enough characters, but do they have enough juice in the tank as far as the studio is concerned and what they've been doing so far to catch up?
Do I think that they can make something like the MCU anytime soon, like to that level of success and kind of, I don't know, that vision? No, I don't think they can. But I also don't think they have to, and I think it'd be wiser if they don't try to, because they've been trying to, and it hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
So I think it's better for them to do those, like, okay, maybe have like a small, like succinct DC cinematic universe. Have Wonder Woman, like maybe hint at Aquaman and Flash.
And the other guys.
But maybe not try to make it like this comprehensive, like linked world. I don't think you necessarily need to. I think maybe just hinting at it, winking and nodding about it, kind of almost in the way like taking it back to the Netflix Marvel series, where it's like, you can assume that's in the same world. There's enough nuggets in there for you to go, okay, well, it could be linked, but not adhere to it as far as like, okay, well, this canonically happened at this time, so then now that's a big thing in the world that sets off this thing, and then that thing's linked to that, and it's this overall conspiracy that they're all going to have to come together as the Justice League at some point to defeat at the end of the day, and we're going to have a big Justice League movie again, yada, yada, yada.
They would have to acknowledge that they're not doing that, because otherwise fans would go, they would shit on the continuity of everything.
Yeah.
People would pick up on it.
I think it's tough to say because comic characters are intrinsically linked to each other, right? So if you have the Batman and it features the Riddler, let's say, and then for some reason we go to Gotham in the next Wonder Woman movie, and you see a headline in a newspaper about the Riddler being caught or whatever.
Yeah.
If those characters aren't the same, then we're going to get confused. But if they keep them within their own worlds and we don't have to worry so much about the crossover, I don't think it's that big of an issue. And I think that you can have a Wonder Woman cinematic universe. You can have a Batman cinematic universe. You can have a Flash cinematic universe. It's not gonna be as cohesive and coherent as if all those were to be linked. But I think if you want to go for dramatically different, tonally different stories, that's an option at least, to make those their own closed off worlds, their own bubbles that you can play with however you want, but then have, other stuff to the side. I mean, that's what we're doing in video games right now with Sony and the Spider-Man games, and then the Avengers games now having a different Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to lead to I think less confusion than you might think. I think people are more savvy nowadays and can realize, oh, that's a different Spider-Man. That's not the same Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Giving people a little more credit than they deserve.
Probably.
Well, it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes. I mean, we didn't even mention the Wonder Woman trailer. We keep talking about it, but we kind of dancing around it.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't think we really need to touch on it so much as I really like the first one, and I like Gal Gadot, and I'm just gonna go watch the movie. I just don't really need with her, and with the character. I don't really need any convincing. I'm just gonna go watch the movie.
Yeah, it looks fine. That's all it needed to do. It looked fine. The trailer looked fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm basically the same way. I'm into it. We'll see how it turns out. I think they may have shown more than they should have in the trailer.
Yeah, they have the habit of doing that.
Yeah. So, but still fine. Also, we never gave our official ruling on the Batman trailer. Is it trash or nah?
Oh, it's far beyond trash, dude. It's
agreed.
It's one of the best trailers.
I had to hear it from you.
Yeah, it's one of the best teasers that I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it's a good mood setter,
Yeah, it really it's the perfect teaser because it doesn't give you anything, and I think that's only because they didn't have anything filmed.
They said that only 25% of the movie's filmed right now.
Right. So you've got a quarter of the movie done, and you've got to chop that down to 2 minutes. You can't give us that much plot, which is good because that makes the teaser perfect. You set the tone. You let us know what world we're going into. You give us some juicy bits to kind of fucking stick a fork into, and then you go away, and then come back with the Big Daddy trailer, which I'm not gonna watch.
Okay.
Because DC.
You're already in.
I'm in already for sure, and DC they just have this habit of I don't know if it's fear from the studio, or if they just don't understand. If these new execs and stuff are just we gotta give them what they paid for. It's stop showing the whole movie. This is the reason that I had to kill trailer trash in the first place. It's because it's just it's a problem. It's an epidemic with these fucking studios where they're we gotta show them enough to get people interested. And it's well, I don't need to see the movie now.
Yeah, I mean that's endemic. With them showing in Wonder Woman the villain reveal at the end of the trailer, it's what?
Exactly.
Why
that could have been a huge moment in the actual movie.
Yeah.
They did it with Justice League. They did the same exact thing. That made me go, well, I don't need to see this in theaters. I'll just wait. I'm not gonna fucking rush out to see this movie. I've already seen it.
Yeah, it sucks. I don't know. Somebody's not learning over there. But
no.
Anyway.
Yeah. So DC FanDome. Sunday. It was a success. So good for them. Yeah. I think we spent the majority of the episode just talking about DC FanDome.
It's fine.
Yeah.
That's okay, I guess.
Yeah. You want to just get the fuck out of here?
Okay. Sure.
Well, before we leave, we can't leave you guys without reviewing these brewskis. So, Obi, please reintroduce the beer and tell the people what you thought.
This was the Hollow.
Hello.
Check that label out. Wow.
Sexy.
I know. It's a milkshake style American hoppy ale with ube, mango, and lychee. 32 ounce, 7%, canned on 826 for this one in particular. And there's a little dolphin on there. I don't know if you can see it. Look at that.
I can.
So this again is a collaboration with the restaurant Taglish in Orlando, which I can not recommend enough. Very tasty. So you can tell by the purple, has that ube flavor, which is very nice.
Ube.
Ube. It's very sweet and also has that mix of an IPA bitterness too. So it's the thing that we always look for, that balance between sweetness and bitter, which I really like. I don't get much mango. I get a little bit of the lychee. It's sweet but not overpowering, which I appreciate. I was afraid of this being one of those milkshake IPAs that's just like too much and overpowers, but it's not that. It's actually pretty mild as far as the sweetness goes, but it's still there. Overall, I'm going to give it a 4.5. I think it's a very well balanced milkshake IPA, and I'm glad I took the lactates because it's pretty creamy too.
All right. Well, speaking of cream, this was the Honey Cream Ale Wild Night from Swamphead Brewery. It is also a local brewski. How local, you say? Well, it's from Gainesville, Florida. That's how local.
Okay.
And I mean, we've had some good ones from Swamphead. I'm trying to think of the one with the big
big nose.
Big nose. That one's good. This one, solid. There's always this thing with any time a brewery tries to do a honey cream style ale or cream ale period. It's so divisive. It's it's pure hit or miss.
Yeah. We hated the what was it, that whale one, right?
Yeah, that one was, I think, still one of the lowest rated beers in the history of the show.
What's the name of that brewery? I forget. They make Duke's Brown too.
Shit.
They're I think they're out of Tampa.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We're gonna shout you out, son of a bitch. You think you can get away from us? But this, it's solid. It's solid. It's nothing. I mean, the thing is, I mean, if you're somebody like us who is into, drinking them all, experimenting, seeing what you like, going through all the beers in your local brewery or local gas station or grocery store, or what have you, wherever you can get your craft beers, I would suggest, it's a fun thing to experiment with.
Mm-hmm.
Will I ever drink this again? No. I can tell you for certain. Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So I'd give it a 3.5.
Okay.
So there you go. A 3.5 for the Wild Night and a 4.5 for the Hollow. Think we got it?
I think we got it.
Let's get the fuck out of here. This has been the One Baron Podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Rodriguez.
Hey, girl.
And for Fife, look at him.
Oh.
Look at him. He's so pretty. He's so handsome. Say hello. Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have a beautiful evening.
Careful, he'll poop under your
I'm
bed.
not letting him out of this room. He's locked in here. Out of my bed. Goodbye.
Goodbye.